10 years ago, Nintendo president Satoru Iwata announced his intention of Nintendo branching out into other industries under an agenda called quality of life. Nintendo would be producing a number of products that would improve your life in meaningful ways. They were expanding beyond video games. And at the time, NeoGaf sneered, like Nintendo is entering a saturated market. They'll never be able to compete. They can't even compete in gaming. They're going bankrupt. Nintendo is finished. Iwata doesn't know what he's talking about. The vitality sensor was a complete and utter disaster. These people never realized that the Vitality sensor did make it to market through the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. Ring Fit Adventure made that thing a huge, huge success, even though most people don't really process that that is what that is, right? People don't really understand that for developing technology, it takes a long time to produce and bring to market and make viable. And today, with the release of Nintendo Alarmo, Nintendo has demonstrated that they are indeed capable of breaking into other markets. This is the beginning of a glorious new Nintendo in which they are not only dominating PlayStation and Xbox, they are also going to dominate other industries, such as the alarm clock industry. They are going to dominate this field as well with their unique features that are tailor made to their audience, that is going to be the beginning of Nintendo's infiltration of other industries, the beginning of Nintendo being the dominant the dominant force in all industries. Nintendo Alarmo, right? This is really exciting stuff. Really cool to see, and most people are coping and seething about this right now. Like they're trying to say that like they could have announced Switch 2 instead, but I think the real reason people are so upset is because this demonstrates very clearly that Nintendo is in a position where they can expand their business, where they can begin producing high quality new products in other industries outside of gaming. I talked about this in regards to like the film industry specifically, how it feels like with Nintendo Pictures, we're going to start seeing like really good high quality Nintendo products. And that happened almost immediately with the Mario movie, with the Zelda movie, and with that anime at the end of Emio the Smiling Man, right? Much like with the vitality sensor, all of these things are going under the radar where people assume that these are like one-off success stories and they're not going to be replicated, or maybe they don't know about it at all, right? But the reality is Nintendo is establishing itself as a dominant force in entertainment, in their niche. They are, I think, going to be the spearhead of the next major trend in films. Is that the video game adaptation, right? The cope that people have that like Castlevania is better, or Sonic the Hedgehog is better, or Monster Hunter is better, or the Resident Evil movies are better. Like all of that cope is going to fall by the wayside as Nintendo develops their portfolio of just high quality adaptations of all of their series that will appeal to a wide different range of audiences and just kind of demonstrate Nintendo's strength as a brand, right? Again, I think people are going to be very, very surprised with how different the Mario movie sequel is going to be than the original, right? I think people are going to be surprised with how good the Zelda movie is, right? The fact that it's going to outperform the Lord of the Rings series and going to have a lot more long-term viability, right? I think people are going to be surprised at like the series that Nintendo can make successful. I think it's going to be more than just the super mainstream properties that everyone knows. You know, I could see them producing like Fire Emblem or Advance Wars, Splatoon, and those brands, much like the Pokemon anime did in the day, are going to make those game franchises far more popular than they would have been otherwise, right? Again, what we're essentially seeing is the beginning of the end of this idea that Nintendo can't compete in the entertainment industry, right? It's been slowly eroding away all generation, and now people are like desperately clinging on to this hope that like Nintendo's gonna go woke. They're gonna go woke so hard that people are gonna drop them immediately, and they're gonna stop supporting them, and they're gonna go bankrupt faster than Ubisoft, faster than EA. That they're going to take. Not gonna happen. Like, but Switch 2 might not do well. Like, people still play their Switch, right? Like, again, people don't seem to realize this, that the Switch is so successful, and with the way the ecosystem is set up with the online store, like Nintendo can keep that running forever, right? They're never going to be in a position where they're struggling. Even during the Wii U days, in which the entire gaming industry came after them and tried to tag team them and tried to like ruin them, they completely and utterly failed at doing that, right? It was amazing to see that happen, and now we're seeing people try to do the same thing with Nintendo Switch 2, with Alarmo, with the Nintendo Pictures, right? How many people have you seen like try and go after the Mario movie lately because they know, right? How many people are you seeing going after Alarmo right now? Like, that this these kind of products frighten the industry. These kind of products demonstrate that Nintendo is no longer limited by their hardware being seen as inferior to the competitions. They know that they are going to completely and utterly fail to stop Nintendo out going forward. And the fact that Nintendo took products that were like completely laughed at 10 years ago, the vitality sensor and now the quality of life products, the fact that they did that is a real testament to just how tenacious the company is and how they can actually improve and like actually make changes, something that like I don't see out of any other company in any industry, right? I never see anybody want to buy new cars because of how trashy and expensive they are, right? And people are like hate the PS5 Pro because of how overpriced it is and how it doesn't have physical media, right? Like, again, these aren't isolated instances. Most companies feel like they're exceedingly poorly run and that they don't know what they're doing. They're not cultivating talent. They're only interested in like scamming people. But Nintendo feels like they're different. And I do think uh, if it comes to their products being higher quality than what other people are offering, they're going to dominate other industries fairly quickly, even more established ones. And this is going to be really exciting to see. Nintendo finally start outpacing Disney, start outpacing Apple, start becoming the biggest company in the world. So we no longer have to deal with like clickbaiting retards, like try to say that like Nintendo is going to get acquired by a bigger company than them. It isn't going to happen. It can't happen, I would argue at this point. But people have still been trying to say that anyway. But it really needs to be understood that Nintendo has positively just won. Okay, not even the console generation at this point, because it's not about that. Like, what Nintendo has done is essentially created an ecosystem where they can't fail, where they just have all of these high quality products, all these developers, all these franchises, all this technology, all these fans, by simply being a good business, right? And that's simply something that other industries, other companies, Valve especially, just can't compete with. When you compare Nintendo technology to Valve, like, what do you get? Like, Nintendo, you get long-term support. The technology works. I still use my N64, right? You have like this quality that lasts forever, right? And then like with Valve, oh man, we the you know The controllers don't work. The Steam Deck doesn't have any practical purpose. Like, it's just a failure of a company that will never expand beyond being a storefront for PC gaming. And once Gabe dies, you aren't going to have that either. So, the long and short of it is Nintendo is, I think, in a way better position than most people realized. And people are going to keep coping and seething about this. I think forever, but I think the company has established itself at this point as being one that is here to stay.